Okay, so we just completed adding the swirl figure to our application. This is the second figure we're going to do for day 4, which is the mandala. And let's go ahead and get into that. Oops, where's my NetBeans? There we go. So I'm still in NetBeans. I just put the swirl code in. I'm going to go to the index.html. You can see down here at the end of the checkbox section, I have the swirl checkbox that I just added. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and paste it in. Control C to copy, Control V to paste. I'm going to change the swirl here to Mandala, M-A-N-D-A-L-A. And then, of course, this should be called Mandala Check. So Mandala Check is the ID, and then the label has to match it. And then now the display text will also be mandalas. Okay? Hit Control S to save. Now we'll go back into our script. Let's go all the way up to the top. We're going to add the symbolic constant in here. So this is going to be var mandala, all uppercase, equals 10. And that should work fine with what we've been doing before. Yes, I just wanted to check and make sure. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add the code to check the checkbox to see if the user wants us to draw the mandala figure. So again, I'll copy the code that I already have for the last one, the swirl, pardon me, the swirl checkbox. I'll go ahead and paste that in, tidy it up a little bit, and then you see where it says swirl check. Now that's mandala check. And then, of course, if it is checked, we're not going to add the swirl. We're going to add the mandala to the figure set. All right, let's go on down now to the draw method, and we're going to add the mandala to the switch statement. If I come all the way down here, there's the last one I did, the swirl. So I'm going to put in a new line and a new case here, case mandala, colon, and then I'll put the break in for the end of the case. I like to put my beginning and end in right away and then type in the middle. Okay, let's see. It looks like we have a function for the mandala, so we're going to have some code here for the case, and then we'll add some additional code. All right. So it looks like we used the line width like we did before. So I'm going to steal the code here from Swirl because it's up here. And while I'm there, I'll take the G2 save as well. So I'm going to copy these two lines. And in fact, the number of sides is the same as well. So really, let's just go ahead and copy this entire section of Swirl. Control C. Come on down here. And if you go to the end, it'll paste in a little cleaner. So Control V to paste. Whoops. Thought that was going to save me some trouble. It didn't. Let me just move that over. Okay, so this code's all the same except right here we're going to call mandala instead of swirl. So mandala. And let's check our parameters here real quickly, which means Tom is checking them on his printed copy. Those are fine. So now we're ready to go ahead and enter this mandala function. So let's scooch on down here. Here's the last one we did. We can put it in right before that again. So again, this is going to be function mandala. And then the parameters are the same. So if you want, you can just copy them. So if you take your mouse and grab this through here, just grab the whole thing, Control C, and then paste over those or delete those braces. There we go. Okay, so it has exactly the same signature as the next one. So context, XY, radius, and whoops. Oops, actually it's a little different. All right, so let's change these to CX and CY. And then we'll go to the end and we'll hit an opening and closing block. And let me just move this up so we have more screen space there for you. It's easier to see. Okay, so now I'm going to start typing in the code for the mandala. And the first thing I do is I do the translate, which we saw before. So that's context dot translate, and then this is going to be cx and cy. So again, we're translating the coordinate system so that the center of our figure is now the center of the system, and it's more like the one that we're used to from geometry and algebra. All right, then basically this is a fairly short method. I'm not sure why I wrote this as a method. Oh, excuse me. I could have put all the code in line in the break, but oh well. So for, and then basically each circle would use C for var C equals 0, while C is less than the num sides. And here it's not really the number of sides, it's the number of circles that the mandala is going to have rotated around the center point. And then C++, I'll go to the end, put a block in here, and then hit enter to get a closing block. So var C equals 0, while C is less than num sides. Whoops, see that? I got a colon in there. It should be a semicolon. There we go. Okay. All right. So now this is one of those problems I had. Actually, when I did this module today for today's day, I realized that I had a bug in this code. So what I'm going to do now is actually the fix. So what happens is that the graphic system wants to chain everything together. So it thinks that you're doing one line and that's going to be connected to the next, etc. And the way you fix this is you use the begin path before everything. It should be separate. So we want to begin a path, and then we're going to use the arc function, context.arc, to draw the circle. And the circle is going to go from x equals 0 to the negative radius, which is the radius of the circle, and then it's going to start at the radius and go 2 times math.pi, and it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise, so we'll say false to counterclockwise. Okay, then we want to go ahead and immediately stroke it to render it. So context dot stroke. The little bug that I had before is it would leave a little line where it connected the circles together, which it wasn't supposed to do, and so then I fixed that. And then now we want to rotate. So basically we'll draw this first circle and then rotate and draw each one through the loop. So the parameters are the same because we do the rotation. That's why we can get away without having to calculate all of the coordinates for each of the lines that we're drawing, which is really nice. So again, this idea of radial symmetry that I talked about before is really the key to doing a lot of these figures. So that's really all there is to it. We'll go ahead and get rid of some of this white space and tidy it up a little bit. So we always want these brackets to match and be right atop one another. So this is the beginning of the function, this is the end, this is the beginning of the for loop, this is the end. So we should be good now. So we can save, Control S. We'll go ahead and launch our app to test it. And right off I can see I have the mandalas now there. And so I'll move my mouse down and check that. And I'll just go ahead and hit draw, and there we go. And taking a quick look at this one, you can see we didn't get any of those extra lines. So I do have the bug fix in there. Okay, so that didn't take very long. So we're done with our second figure for today.